Go ahead and call the meeting to order a minute early at, call it 6:29. This is 6:15.
I have 6:31.
I don't care.
Doesn't matter.
The clock says 6:29. We're gonna call it to order now. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes from July 11th, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes from July 11th, 2019, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The motion passes. Additions and deletions, we need to add under highway, a discussion about Windham coach and carriage. We need to add under the treasurer's report, an Oakwood cemetery warrant. Under highway, we need to just note state aid for roads. And under correspondence, we need to note we received a VLCT claims report. And already on the agenda under additions, there is an inspection report from VLTC of the buildings, and that should be under correspondence as well. So if we can all remember all those different things, then we'll be doing well. Okay.
I have one.
What do you have?
I have a discussion of the town hall no smoking policy, old business.
Old business? Okay. I lost old business. Okay, anything else? From anyone else? Okay. Alrighty, then I will entertain a motion to take the agenda out of order and take members of the public first.
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of taking the agenda out of order and moving members of the public to the next item, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The motion passes. So, Mr. Marshall.
All right, how are you?
I don't know.
Hi, Charlie.
Well, okay. I'm here to give you a little update on how we're doing with the Stone Arch Bridge stuff. I don't need to read it off, I'll just give it to you. There's a little sheet here that deals with all bridges, and then the West Townsend Bridge specifically. And then I have a little announcement. The County History Fair is August 10th on the Newfane Common. We're having a booth there along with other historical societies, so I encourage you to attend. Our booth presentations for the next few years will probably be Stone Arch Bridge related, so anyway, we'll try to have something new and different there. Let's see, the other question, and I put a note in Steve's box, when we got rejected for the DOT grant proposal, right? Megan Bronk said we should reapply. So we're asking you at some point when it's appropriate to reapply for the West Townsend Bridge. And she also asked if the town had its top 10 infrastructure needs or whatever. I don't know exact. Sounds like there's some sort of top 10 program that the state has that you can submit. Maybe it's just DOT. I don't know the answer to that. Came from Megan through an email. I put a note in Steve's box that asked if we had such a thing, and she seemed to indicate that if we had such a thing on file, and of course we'd want the bridge one of the top 10 things, otherwise why would we bother to do it? That would help with the decision making for future grants.
Would that help who? The state or
Yeah, the
help the
state.
town?
Well, I guess the purpose of it is to get the town thinking about infrastructure issues that are not next week, but you know, down the road.
Long-range plan.
So if you decided you needed to, I'm being a guesswork here. If you needed to completely rebuild Windham Hill Road, that's not something you'd do in a 6-week decision-making process. You'd, you know, decide you're gonna do this stage, whatever. I don't know. It sounded like everyone should know what this is. I never heard of it.
As the structures, just to clarify, are replacement of bridges, any highway structures that have failed, major box culverts, those types of things, and those, I can understand planning those out. As I told you, when that was rejected, the town is in the process, and we currently have out for engineering
Right.
study on Bridge 43. So we will be applying for the structures grant next year regardless.
Right.
So I don't know if you want us to apply at the same time. They pick 10
Yeah.
is what they do. There's
All I'm
10
going with what she said in her email to us is reapply again, and then she asked this question about this. I think the phrasing was infrastructure top 10 priorities. And, you know, so, I don't know, maybe someone can contact her and find out what she's talking about. And she made it sound like it wasn't really difficult to fill. It sounded like there was already an existing procedure to do it. So I don't know. But it's a town thing, not, you know, it's projects that the town has planned down the road that are part of infrastructure. I don't know if it's just highway or buildings or schools. I doubt that it's all combined because it's coming from her. So I imagine it's highway related, I would guess. Anyway, that's my update.
Okay, any questions from anybody about any of the pieces? We've got a lot of things checked out.
Well, some of
Busy.
them, a couple of them you've probably seen before. We're just kind of keeping a running list of what we're trying to do and kind of keep moving it forward.
Now, I know one of the questions is, I've talked to the bookkeeper about the money that will be raised this year for the bridge and what's to happen to that, and it will be set aside into the reserve account until that structures grant can be determined to be ours one way or another.
Okay.
So yes, we will raise the money in taxes this year, so.
One of the
It will be
things
done.
on that update list is we sent these letters to the trucking companies, and we got quite a few, I say quite a few, 3 or 4 responses, all positive. And then the last few days, I've been sitting on my porch watching truck after truck after truck going to Bonneville, I guess, to redo Route 30. We're talking about huge construction trucks, none of which we've ever heard of. I mean, they're New Hampshire. I saw one from Woodstock. So those people did not get this letter, but they're going over one of the bridges on Route 35 every single trip, especially loaded. I'm gonna guess they're more than 24,000 pounds, but anyway.
Which part?
Pardon?
Which part of the truck?
Oh, yeah, I
front
mean,
or
those
the
long ones that must have asphalt or something in them, they're huge. And just for the note, sitting on my porch, some of them are not conforming to the 35-mile-an-hour speed limit.
I don't know why.
I can't imagine, anyway, just thought I'd throw it in.
Oh, okay.
That's it,
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you,
for
Charlie.
the update, and we'll let you know what's going on,
okay.
one way or another.
Cynthia's next,
Okay.
she's got a report. Cynthia?
Okay, thank you.
Bye, Charlie.
So, I have to ask a question before we go any further of you. Are we going to be discussing someone else's health insurance coverage?
Yes.
There, I will. Entertain a motion to move into executive session to discuss health insurance coverage plans that are covered under 45 CFR Part 160 and subparts A and E of Part 164, otherwise known as The Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, or HIPAA. Information about participants of Section 105 HRAs is protected under this law.
I don't need to go into executive session for this. I don't want to.
There's a lot of, well, that's fine, you can have it in open session, but it is a violation. Without Randy signing off on this is a violation.
I don't think it's necessary.
Anybody want us, anything to say? You want to go out on a limb?
Is Randy with you? No.
What would you like to do?
And are we discussing a policy, or are we discussing his particular, or your particular concerns with policy change?
That's it, exactly.
That impacts.
And the benefits,
Yeah.
exactly. Yep.
Then I think we should go into executive session.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of moving into executive session to discuss health benefits, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? The motion passes. So we'll take about a 5 to 10 minute break. All right, so we're going to come out of executive session at 6:50. Did Cynthia make it? Okay, at 6:55. And someone needs to make a motion to, I'll entertain a motion to reconsider. How's that? So somebody make the motion.
So moved.
No, state
I-
the motion.
I would move to, as a request, reconsider the motion, where is it?
You want to
The
reconsider the
motion that
decision?
the board reconsider the personnel policy language and continue spousal coverage by reimbursing Medicare and prescription drug costs and providing supplemental insurance for spouses covered under
Okay.
our plan.
A second, so it was seconded by Crystal. Is there any discussion? No? So, hearing none, all those in favor of reconsidering the decision to reconsider the personnel policy and consider continuing the spousal benefits, signify by saying aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Abstentions?
Aye.
Did you vote?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, then the motion to reconsider fails. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the answer.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry. All right, then moving on to, okay, where are we? We'll leave that up there, mention, don't leave anything down. Let's go ahead and do the warrants then.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 1, payroll, in the amount of $10,530.72.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying payroll warrant number 1 in the amount of $10,530.72 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 2, payroll tax, in the amount of $4,585.07.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying payroll tax warrant number 2 in the amount of $4,585.07 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 3 out of the general fund, the amount of $4,856.22.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying general fund warrant number 3 in the amount of $4,856.22 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 4 out of the general fund, the amount of $12.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
What was that for?
1991 GMC pumper.
That was the registration for the new fire
Oh, for
car.
the truck.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying general fund warrant number 4 in the amount of $12 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, the motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 5 out of the highway fund in the amount of $5,128.34.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying highway fund warrant number 5 in the amount of $5,128.34 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, the motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 6 out of the highway fund in the amount of $88.05.
Second.
Is there any discussion? I have a little bit of discussion. I believe that's the warrant with the
Is
two.
the UniFirst.
The universe. Just a clarification piece, no, that was the two. One of the UniFirst bills, we may as well talk about it now, had two wipe pieces on it. Did you get a double delivery one week? Because it wasn't the same as the others.
It's because of the 4th of July holiday. They changed their delivery schedule for uniforms and rags, and that's why it hit like that.
Oh, okay. It was just an oddball, just was making sure they weren't creeping in
It's because
again.
of 4th of July.
Okay. So, all those in favor of paying, I get lost, highway fund warrant number 6 in the amount of $88.05, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, the motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 7 out of the highway fund in the amount of $17.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying highway warrant number 7 in the amount of $17, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 8 out of the equipment fund in the amount of $339.75.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying equipment warrant number 8 in the amount of $339.75, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 9 out of the general fund in the amount of $591.05.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying general fund warrant number 9 in the amount of $591.05, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, the motion passes. All right, so that takes care of the bills. Then moving on to the reports, I'll let Steve go ahead and, do a report first, and then we'll take care of the letter from Windham Coach.
The grader is currently down as of Friday afternoon with a hydraulic leak in a hydraulic cylinder that operates the side shift of the blade. The parts will be in Thursday morning and we'll have that back up and running. We have been working on Buck Hill. We did install 4 new culverts and put down approximately 200 yards of gravel to put a crown back into the road and some coverage over the existing culverts that we will not get to be changing this year. We also reworked the intersection of Buck Hill and Galbraith to open up that intersection to allow us to have more mobility with the larger truck. Also, at the end of Shadow Lawn, we also opened up that turnaround for the big truck. And we'll be done with Buck Hill tomorrow. And then after the grader is repaired on Thursday, we'll be working on tree cutting on the Grafton Road. All those saplings that are hanging over the Grafton Road will start cutting down and chipping.
Any questions? No? Then we received a note from Windham Coach and Carriage, who did the repair on the new Dodge truck, 2018 Dodge. It says, in between writing our estimate for your 18 Dodge Ram 550 and the date that Stephen Frisk brought the vehicle in for repairs, there was a manufacturer's price increase of $42. It is not typical for us to charge customers a different amount after giving them an estimate for repairs. However, parts prices increase are beyond our shop or any shop's control, and we are unable to absorb the additional price for parts ordered for the requested repairs. It is important to us that your select board members understand the reasoning for the increase in our invoice amount on your town's truck. Regards, the owner of Windham Coach and Carriage. So I'll let you address that. We did have a warrant request for $42, which we
It was for
failed.
42.
It was for
Yeah.
42, which we did fail, so.
So tonight I brought with me the original quote, if anybody wants to see it, along with the second check. We did have to provide a $600 deposit prior to him ordering the hood, And then I have the copy of the check, which was the balance that would cover the original quote. So it comes down to a price increase that Jay's computerized system was not aware of at the time, the system that he uses. So this is the original quote, if anybody wants to see it.
What's your recommendation on this?
So my viewpoint hasn't changed since the last meeting. We were given a quote, we award a bid on a quote, and that's what we did. And I'm sorry there was a price increase, but if I knew it was gonna be that much more, it probably would have went to Brattleboro Collision Center, because they would have been the next lowest bidder. So,
What was the time span between the bid and when we brought the truck in?
It was a fair amount of time.
so February 27th is when I was given the quote, and the deposit was given to him on March 20th.
So roughly a month.
So roughly a month from the time that we got the quote.
Oh, not really. 27th, you're what, 28 days?
To 20, yeah.
The 20th, that's 3 weeks.
And it's not a money thing, it's a principle thing. You get a quote from somebody and you pay the quote.
So, any further discussion on that?
Was that a hard quote? There was no contingent on pricing of
No.
current pricing of parts or anything like that? It was, the quote was
It's-
labor and.
The next
delivery,
page
basically.
clearly lays out each step, time for painting, time for prep, the part cost for
Yeah.
the hood.
Yeah,
So it's very clean. Labor, 6.3 hours at $35 an hour.
There's no disclaimer on it anyway.
Okay, so is there any action to be taken?
Can I see the quote for some?
absolutely. We need a motion to do something with the letter?
Yeah, we don't actually need to, if there's no motion that comes forward, then it just will, the correspondence will die, it'll be taken as information. So that's entirely up to you whether or not you want to make a motion. You have to make a positive motion, so it would have to be to pay the $42 if you were to make a motion. You can't make a motion to not pay, in other words.
Okay.
Even if we put a positive sign on it.
No, you have to really work hard to put a positive. Okay, so is there a motion for action on that particular item? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the town treasurer.
You actually had under highway the state aid.
Oh, I didn't do the state aid, that's just an FYI. The state aid came in, see, you gotta watch me because I didn't write all these on here. State aid came in, our total award per quarter is $27,993.59. Did you get a copy of this?
No.
Steve, I'll pass that down to you. That's what will be coming in from the state treasury for the roads. It was slightly above what we anticipated budget-wise.
Okay.
All right, anybody else want to see that?
Sure, I'll take a look now.
All right, and so, did I forget anything else that was going to highway? The
Not
claims
that I know.
report we could actually do under highway too, if you want to, because most of it is the highway.
Sure, if you want.
Okay, so let's go ahead and do the claims report under highway and, so who else am I getting? That, it was all highway tonight. You find it. The claims report is just a list from VLCT Passive that lists the accidents that, and claims that have been paid out. This is over a 5-year period for the town of Townsend. Well, it's not just the trucks, but it's also claims.
It's workers' comp and
It's,
all manner of stuff.
it's for running over my car. My name is on there, I admit. It's not funny,
No, it's a little funny.
but yes, I mean, we receive these every year. It just lists all the claims that have been paid from work injuries or damaged vehicles, or if you look to the last page, you can see Steve's little disaster that Windham Coach and Carriage was writing about. And the little, I believe one of the trucks had a branch come through the windshield this year. That's all on there. So it's a history of all the bad things that you've done,
Report, yeah.
is what it is.
You want us to gloss it for you, Steve?
I'll take the last page, because that's my $274.10.
That's right.
Running tally.
Do you want to see the report?
Sure.
All right, so that just came in. That's just a piece of information for everybody. Just so you get a rough idea of what kind of claims that we ended up putting in against our insurance policy. Okay, so the town clerk, was there a counter report?
I did not see one.
It looks like it started to be one.
I didn't see that.
It kind of looked like it had bled through. So maybe it was just my imagination. Okay, so then the town treasurer.
In the sweep account, you have $816,071.71. You got 30,000 in the checking account.
Okay, are there any questions? All right, then moving on to the Oakwood Cemetery reimbursement. This is a warrant to the treasurer of the town of Townsend, and it says, we understand that there is due to the town of Townsend General Fund $3,641.79 from the Oakwood Cemetery account for funds expended by the general fund in FY 2019. Funds will be transferred from River Valley Credit Union in check form to People's United Bank General Fund checking account. Let this be your order for making such a transfer of funds accordingly. So I'll entertain a motion to sign the directive.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Can't write my name, Kristen.
It's contagious.
It is, evidently. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. So we'll go that way first. Okay. Boy, they just keep me on my toes today. Make sure I do it right. Okay, so that will clear up the majority of the money transfers from last fiscal year, so they can close out the books. Okay, the next item is the notice of the corrected education rates. Remember the last time I told you that it was just downright scary?
Yep.
It was 10 cents for the residents and 15 cents. The state has come back and revised that amount. Now the homestead rate for schools is at 1.8694. That is down roughly 4 cents.
8694?
Yeah. Roughly, roughly 4 cents over what we talked about before. So that's the revised rate that will be working on for the education tax purposes. And Carla and I have put together, although I'm not going to find it in this mess of paper, a preliminary spreadsheet for taxes. There it is. I've got it. I just had to find it. And the only number that we are still waiting for from the state is the hold harmless for the land use. We don't have that number yet. We have plugged in last year's figure as just to get a rough idea. And we're looking at roughly a homestead rate of 2.3986, when last year's was 2.3509. That's a combined. This isn't set yet. Like I said, we're still waiting. This is just to give us a rough idea of where we are.
Yep.
And the non-residential is 2.1293 this year. Last year it was 2.0003. So that pretty well held. So the only other question I have for you is some of the towns have, because the state is so late in getting their tax bills out, some of the towns have gone ahead and either estimated or used previous years or deleted that from their calculations altogether. Is this something that we want to wait for, or do we want to go ahead and get the tax bills out? That's the ultimate question here. We've got all numbers but one.
Do we have any sense of a lead time for the state? Or is it just when it magically appears, it magically appears?
A week ago it was 2 weeks, as I recall. Last week it was 2 weeks. At the beginning of last week was 2 weeks. So you should have a week gone. I don't know if you've got another week coming. But our first
But we
payment,
need to get them out.
well, our first payment, I believe, is August,
31.
is it third? No, that's a Saturday. That's be 30th.
Okay.
So, they have to have it in their hands 30 days prior to the collection of taxes. So
If we
it
wait,
does,
It's gonna get tight.
it does,
Yeah.
it does get time. Well, we could always change that date as well. So that date for that first payment can be pushed back,
A week or whatever.
right, into September if we have to do that.
Yeah,
So it's just a matter of whether you want to roll the dice and work with last year's figure, or whether you want to just sit tight and wait.
I think we should wait, and if we have to push it out a week, we'll push it out a week.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah, I'd much rather have a hard number to use
Yeah.
than try to
Yeah,
go back after the fact.
Well, you can't go back.
Well,
You're
right,
gonna
right.
live with whatever you do.
Hey, right.
It's pretty much, okay, so we'll keep you informed as soon as we get a number from the state. We'll rerun the calculations and we will have a meeting so that if nothing else, we can set the tax rate so the tax bills can go out. Okay, so that's took care of that. Next piece is, I'm trying to catch up here. Okay, so Steve, you added under old business the no smoking policy?
yes.
Okay.
Did we talk about the inspection report?
All right,
Oh,
the
yeah, I
VLCT.
went over that one. Sorry. It's good. You got it. You just
got
gotta watch me.
I got you.
I'm
We got
sneaky.
you.
I'm sneaky today. We did have a visitation from, again, our insurance company. All the municipal buildings were in fact viewed, and they sent a nice little lovely report telling us all the things we've done wrong. Most of them revolve around the fire department, and this list has been transmitted to the fire department for them to deal with the corrective action. The biggest piece in here, and it was in all the buildings, all the buildings. They didn't do the garage, did they?
They were there.
You got a clean bill of health then,
No, I
boy.
did not.
You must have gotten a separate, because you're not in here.
I did get a report.
Oh, you got a separate report. Okay. Well, the one thing that has been brought up in all the buildings is the fact that none of the fire extinguishers have been inspected and or charged.
No.
And so I spoke to the fire chief today. I spoke to Glenn, and he was going to contact Code 3 and see if we could shake that loose and actually come out and take care of all the extinguishers. I mean, the library got dinged on it, the fire department did, we did.
We did.
You did. So everybody seems to, we're all in the same boat.
Yep.
So we need to get those taken care of. There were some other small items in the town hall. The most major one was the fact that the automatic lighting on the exit signs, if there's power failure, that doesn't come on. So the battery packs must need to be
Yep.
replaced. At some point in time, we need to find somebody who can come down and do the batteries in the lights.
Code 3 might do that.
Maybe.
Actually, I'm almost
If-
positive they would.
If we could just get them here to do the fire extinguishers, I'll be
Yeah.
happy. Because that's been a couple of years working. Let's see what else is. There was only a couple things that were really, really serious. And that's town hall emergency lighting. Oh, the fire station was really kind of interesting that they deemed them for no No heater smoke detectors in the building. I thought that was totally appropriate.
In the fire station? Wow.
I mean, you know, what can I say? Let's see, the library, they got the stairs to the library. And again, the library has been given they're pushing this report so they can deal with it. The library didn't have any heat or smoke detectors. The biggest one for the library is the fact there were combustible materials stored in the furnace boiler room. Let's see, where's the high priority? There, who is it? That's fire station. So yeah, I guess there's nothing in the town hall that was considered high priority, but we do need to get the lights taken care of and the fire extinguishers. So if anybody wants to look at the report and thumb through it, it's all the buildings together. You're welcome to look at it.
I'm good.
Okay. Steve, you've already gotten yours, so.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, now you're giving me all my papers back that I didn't use. All right, so now, I don't even see that. What the heck is it?
It was under correspondence.
Okay. Claims report, okay, so then we have, there's no smoking policy in the building.
2 years ago, this board set a no smoking policy not only for the town hall, but for the grounds that the town hall sits on. We passed it. I think all of us in this room knows that people smoke on the front steps. Nobody enforces it. The signs are gone except for that one right there. Now it was brought to my attention last week that someone's smoking in the men's room, and they're putting their butts out and leaving them in the men's room. They're not even wetting them. The individual who brought it to my attention is afraid of possible fire. So this is how far out of control it's gotten. And I think all of us as elected officials should be responsible enough to enforce this policy. And if you see someone smoking on the grounds, smoking on the front steps, smoking in the bathroom, that somebody would say something. And we can get this to stop.
AA is out there and they smoke non-stop, well, maybe not non-stop, but they definitely smoke out there.
Yep.
And seen it many times, and I'm pretty sure that anybody that is an elected official has gotten the notice that it's it's prohibited.
So maybe we need to put some signage back up
Yep.
outside on the patio.
Well, get the fire extinguishers juiced up.
That's one way to take care of it.
Yeah.
When in doubt, put it out.
Okay, well, we could certainly pick up some signs and get those posted out in the front.
I would recommend getting like the smoke-free facility signs rather than just no smoking.
Do you think that there's like,
I don't know if it's a
is there
huge
like a
difference.
gray area between no smoking and that?
I don't know.
Well,
There's-
if you look at how this has transformed over the years,
Apparently they can't.
40 years ago, my uncle would smoke on an airplane when I was sitting next to him.
Yep.
And then it went to restaurants and bars, and now if you go to a business, the signs say smoke-free campus,
Yep.
which means not just the building, but the property that the building sits on.
Yeah, like I said, I think one of the ones that's over there is the smoke-free campus piece. I don't know where we get those signs, I'm assuming from the state or from the feds. We can certainly look into where they come
They
from.
sell them at the hardware store.
The actual facility signs,
Yeah.
the legal notices.
Well, I don't know about the legal notice, the poster you're speaking to, but the signage itself, they may actually have those.
Oh, yeah, well, the no smoking signs, but that whole board is full of legal required
Yeah,
notices.
it's gotta be either the state or the feds.
So, Carla, that's something we can look into, see about getting some additional copies of that particular language.
But a sign out front would be a great idea.
Well,
Wasn't there a sign out there originally?
There was.
Yeah.
where was it?
Through legs?
Yep.
Where was it?
Out front?
Yeah, right up front. It
Should be on
was
the front
somewhere
of the
near the sign that says no skateboarding.
Oh, okay, so it was on one of the windows. Okay. I don't think I ever noticed it. Okay, so we'll.
Nobody skateboards. I never saw anybody skateboard, so they listen to that one.
No, they don't. No, they don't. I guarantee you they don't. So we'll take a look at, see about getting some signs then. The Taft Meadow mowing, we had a discussion about the fact that it needs to be cut. I think Paula did speak to Diana Lane about the needs to get out to the septic field to be able to pump it. And I don't believe at this point in time it's something that's critical that they're really looking at to get out right, to have access to the field right this minute. But we do need to take care of mowing in some manner because the fire department is looking at it through their study for the potential fire station, and they're out there taking measurements of the land and impact statements, that type of thing. So if somebody wants to make a motion to put the mowing of that field out to bid, then we'll get that paperwork taken care of and move on.
I would move that we put the mowing of Taft Meadows out to bid.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor of putting mowing Taft Meadows out to bid, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. So that's something we'll do tomorrow, Carla, is just send out a notice. I don't know if we want to put it in that. Are
Sorry.
you two fighting?
No, they stink.
Oh, I'm
She wants
sorry.
to take Exhibit A home with her.
You're gonna bring it home and finish it off?
All right. Before you all get out of control, library paving bids, we only received one. We thought we were going to have to be really fancy and actually, we did receive one.
I think it's on your right.
Okay, there it is. Have to be really fancy and try to figure out by contacting some of the driveway pavers, because everybody's really busy right now, but we received one from DMI today. For the library. And this, by the way, we've had this discussion before, this is not a highway expense, even though it's in the highway budget. This will be coming out of the general fund, so we will be in deficit for whatever this amount is. Just FYI. Okay, so this is DMI. And it says $18,700. And it's prepare, remove existing asphalt, remove unstable soils. In the rear of the building, apply 1.5-inch crushed gravel. Add crushed gravel as necessary to allow for drainage, grade and compact. An area approximately 4816 square feet. And apply 2 courses of, asphalt.
Asphalt.
Yeah, to a finished depth of 3 inches. So that's the only one that we did receive. And this
That's
is-
1.5 inch crushed gravel as a base and then 3 inches of whatever.
asphalt,
In 2 layers.
right,
Yep.
to a depth of 3 inches.
And that quote price doesn't change with the amount of gravel that he needs to add?
Doesn't say what, I just read you verbatim what it says on the bottom.
Do we have a sense of where the library driveway ends?
Now,
and the
Steve knows
post
where,
office
Steve knows
driveway
where it is, and
begins?
you can actually
Okay.
see it because it's,
Technically, the ramp going into the post office starts on town property, library property.
so that whole section
That
right
whole
there,
section.
that turn-in will be,
So this is under the budgeted number that we put together.
okay. So would someone like to make a motion to hire Dave Manning Inc.?
Does it say when it's supposed to be done?
No, it does not say. Does not say.
So if this gets approved, then I'll be in contact with them and I'll coordinate that with the library.
It just says this proposal may be withdrawn by us if not accepted within 30 days, but,
Well, it'd be nice to have it, if we do accept it, to have it done while it's warm.
Sooner than later.
Yeah.
You know, not have it done last job before winter.
Yep.
okay.
Like the Athens Road.
Like a lot of projects.
So anyway, there's a motion on the table, correct? Is there?
No, not
No.
yet.
Not yet, okay, I'm
I
sorry.
would move to accept the bid from DMI.
Not to exceed
Not to exceed,
18,000.
how much?
18,700.
For the paving of the library.
Second.
Is there any discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor of accepting the proposal from Brave Manning Inc., not to exceed $18,700 to prepare and repave the library parking lot, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, abstentions, motion passes. So did you want to take care of this, or do you want Carla to take
No,
care of it?
I'll take care of it.
All right, so there's that. Okay, we've already had the discussion then on the hold harmless amount. There's no other need for an executive session. We've already discussed with the town clerk, so the only other thing that's on the agenda right now is a quote for the new upstairs furnace, and I'll explain what happened. The furnaces in the new one we put in last year, the one that we put in over at the highway, or at the fire department, he came to service those this year. In the process of servicing the new one downstairs, he found that the big old unit that's taking care of the upstairs in this building, it has finally burned through its firebox and has exceeded its natural life.
Uh-oh.
It needs to be replaced.
Is that the one with the big crazy fan on top?
Yeah.
Okay.
So at this point in time, I asked him roughly what it would cost to repair. He said he can give me a quote, but it's not really worth repairing because you don't know what's going to happen next. So I asked him to then give me an idea of what it would cost to replace it, since he did the other two. So that's what this is. He dropped this proposal off, and I have no idea what it says. So Brown's Oil and Heating Service estimates that it will cost $4,900 to replace, I think that's what it says. To replace the big furnace, and I'm assuming that's also, yeah, this includes removal and proper disposal of the old furnace.
What was the number again?
4,900.
4,900.
49?
With half of it down with his signatures on the proposal of $2,450.
Do we have that money, do we have budgeted money for?
We do not have budgeted money for that.
We have the
We have,
VTEC money, right?
we have repair money in the budget for the town hall.
Uh-huh.
And we also have the RDAG money, which was used for the fire fire doors that could be tapped. But I don't think, given that quote, that it's gonna be particularly problematic, other than the fact that we just spent $18,700 to
On
pave the library that we didn't anticipate either,
Right.
so.
Yeah. Maybe remember what we paid for the other furnace? Did we replace it?
They were just under 6. They
Yeah,
were-
that sounds good.
He gave us good quotes.
Oh,
And this one was more because he had to replace the oil tank.
Right,
that's right.
yeah, this is just the unit itself.
Yep.
Dismantling it, taking it out and putting a new furnace. He's already run the lines, he's done all the things he needed to do to that old burner.
I'd make a motion to accept Brown Oil Heating Service's bid for $4,900 to put in a new furnace for the upstairs of the town hall.
Second.
Is there any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor of accepting the quote from Brown's Oil Heating Service of $4,900 to replace the furnace that heats the upstairs in the town hall, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion passes. So after I read it, Crystal. 22nd. That'll be 22nd.
23rd.
So, Carl, one of these copies will need to be filed for us, and the other copy will need to be returned to Brown's. so they'll be on the clipboard. Okay, so that takes care of a new furnace. So the only thing that hasn't gotten a new furnace,
Is my house.
well,
You're next.
you're next.
Can I be next?
I was gonna say, Steve's gonna start whining about what I garage here so shortly.
Steve's got barrels, he can build fires.
Oh, he has to build his own fire? Okay. Tell the fire department first, please, because we need the extinguishers charged. Okay, is there any other business that needs to come be addressed? No? The next meeting is August 17th at 6:30.
That doesn't work for me.
August 17th?
No, that's a Saturday.
Oh. Did we screw up?
Good call, Mr. Frisk, right on top of this. Do we mean the
Today's
13th?
13th.
Do we meant the 13th maybe?
Yeah, we meant the
Yeah.
13th.
There's an A game over there.
Jason, he's the one.
Remembered he's got every Saturday memorized.
If not for him, I'd have just thrown away a
It's only
Saturday.
52 a year.
Okay, so it'll be on August 13th at 6:30, unless we need a special meeting to set the tax rate, and that'll be fluid. I'll let you know if that comes up. If there's nothing else, I will entertain a motion at, let's see, 7:35 to adjourn. You did it again. I'll make the motion to adjourn at 7:35. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.